Hi, I'm Patrick, as in the beloved saint of Ireland. Oh, and I'm not Irish. Now that I've just shattered everything you thought you knew about me, let me tell you my story. I was born in Britain, a far-flung Roman colony, about 400 years after Jesus Christ walked this earth. Not that I cared much about Jesus or faith or Christianity in those days. Oh, I went to church. Kind of hard to get out of it when your grandpa's the pastor. But I was definitely, how should I put this, ornery. Yep, that would be the word for it. Things went along swimmingly until I was 16. That's when the pirates came from Ireland and carried me off. No, seriously, I'm not making this up. I was actually abducted by pirates. And it was hardly the glorious adventure that you read about in all the action novels. I was promptly sold to a petty king who forced me to herd his sheep on the northern fringes of Ireland. I was cold, hungry, miserable, homesick, and I didn't even have the luxury of being able to complain about it to anyone because I couldn't speak the language. Well, they say that once you've hit the bottom, you finally look up. So that's what I did. And you know what I saw? No, not tree branches. God. I found God in the pagan Ireland, of all places. Or maybe it was he who found me. But no time for theological debates. The point was, I did a complete 180. Everything was different. Even the grass was greener, which for Ireland is saying a lot. And I know that my mum would have gotten weirded out by this, but I actually started praying, and praying, and praying. And then I prayed some more. Well, wouldn't you pray if you were stuck on a mountainside with smelly sheep for 6 years? No offense, guys. To no one's surprise, I'm sure, one of the big things I prayed was, God, get me out of here! And one night, he actually answered me. 'Twas the happiest day of my life, when in a dream I heard the words, You're going home, the ship is ready. Never mind that I was 200 miles from the seaport, or that I would have to travel alone through hostile land and I'd never seen before. Why worry about such details? I was going home. The journey went well, as did the ship's passage. Okay, I may have gotten seasick once or twice, but finally, after 6 long years away, I was back in dear old Britain. And my mum, being a typical mother, begged and pleaded with me to promise never to leave her again. But no sooner had I given my mum my word, for I certainly had no intentions of going anywhere for a very long time, then I had another dream. Funny how God shows up when you least expect him to and takes your life in a direction that you would have never imagined. Well, in this dream, I heard a million Irish voices begging me to... How did they put it? Walk among us once more. Let's see. Stay at home with my loving family, a warm bed, and all the food I could eat, or travel back to nasty old Ireland, the land of my kidnappers, chock full of heathen savages. The choice was a no-brainer. I immediately informed my family that I'd be leaving for missionary school, and off I went to evangelize Ireland. To make a long story short, my work in Ireland was quite successful. I baptized thousands of new Irish believers, converted dozens of savage and scary-looking chieftains to Christianity, founded a handful of monasteries, and even managed to effectively stop the Irish slave trade. But what about the snakes, Patrick? I can hear you asking me. Didn't you drive all the snakes out of Ireland? Well, that, my friends, is pure legend. Funny how rumors get started. So while I was busy bringing Christ to barbaric Ireland, the rest of civilized Europe was descending into chaos. The once mighty Roman Empire was crumbling at the hands of the Saxons, Vandals, Visigoths, Ostrogoths, and all the other Goths. These rough-and-tumble illiterates made a game of burning the great libraries of Europe, as well as attempting to stamp out Christianity on the continent. And I must say, they did a pretty good job of it. The Dark Ages had officially begun. But not in Ireland. You see, the Irish Christians couldn't get enough of learning, so they started reading everything they could get their hands on. And then they started copying the books by hand. Good thing there weren't any copyright laws back then, or they'd have a lot of trouble on their hands. So when Irish missionaries started making their way back to the mainland to Europe during the following century, they not only brought Christ with them, but their books too. The very classics of literature that had been destroyed by the Goths. Because of this, it has been said that the Irish saved civilization. Aye, that is true. But never forget that it was God who saved the Irish, and he used this little British lad named Patrick to do it.